Life, the 1998 classic with Eddie Murphy, where he plays multiple characters, and it's hilarious. Just kidding. We're talking about Life, the 2017 movie. This is a horror science fiction film, and I'm a big fan of both genres. Get me some horror, get me some sci-fi, put them together. It's an irresistible combination to me. I gotta check it out. Obviously, I'm not alone in that. I mean, there was a time when it was like that genre, the horror science fiction, was probably the most popular that there was. You know, like back in the 1950s, drive-in days where they really couldn't make those alien creature with the bad costume and the zipper sticking out of the back. They couldn't make those fast enough, and there was a huge demand for it. And yeah, maybe it died down over the years, but then you would see something like Alien from Ridley Scott, which revised the genre and gave it a certain kind of legitimacy and update, kind of the same way that George Lucas did with the science fiction adventure serial with Star Wars. So it's the genre has always kind of stayed on that same path since then. Like everyone's been trying to make the next Star Wars with a science fiction adventure film, and everyone's been trying to make the next Alien with their science fiction horror alien monster on a spaceship kind of thing. So we've been on that path for a while now. Maybe they haven't quite topped those respective movies quite yet. Not quite as I don't know, jarring as a revision or mind blowing as a revision as in the 70s. But we've seen a lot of movies like this come and go, and a lot of them were forgettable. And maybe Life is among those where it does kind of feel maybe a little bit like an alien kind of clone, obviously doing its own thing and has its own style to it and its own uh, method to this genre. But for what it's worth and to its credit, I think the accuracy, the legitimacy, the realism, it's on the screen. Good budget movie, pretty big budget, good special effects. Everything looks the way it should, but maybe it doesn't have quite the same kind of backbone as something like Alien does have, where you can kind of take a lot more out of it. In addition to just being an update to that genre, in addition to a great, unique monster on the film that looks realistic, that feels like it is really there and not just some dude in a costume. In addition to other things you can take from the subtext and just social issues and political and just a I don't know, a different kind of paranoia that you could only get from the 70s. I don't know, like Alien is considered one of Hollywood's paranoid films. So there's all that. Life, it's, monster on the space station kind of thing. And it does it well. It does it with some great special effects, like superb special effects. I don't want to downplay the special effects in any way, shape, or form because they're exceptionally done, and they give it a good shot with the alien creature. Like everyone is trying to get to be the next, what's the next crazy creature that we're gonna see, like the alien, right? So what they do here a little bit differently. They're searching on Mars for soil samples, I think, but then they find this cell, this single cell containing life. They bring it aboard the station and they study it, and it changes quite rapidly, and it starts growing and always shifting its shapes and becoming more aggressive and very obviously a danger to the crew. And the whole point of the movie is, we have to survive, or if we can't survive, we can't let this damn thing get to Earth because it would be catastrophic, that kind of thing. So that's pretty much what it is. And complementing the special effects and legitimacy of the movie, and how it all looks really good, there's great performances as well. I mean, Jake Gyllenhaal, he's a great actor. Ryan Reynolds, Rebecca Ferguson, they're all great in their roles. They're all very convincing, and they do have very, legitimately dramatic moments. And we do feel for the characters to a certain point, as much as we can in this kind of movie, I guess. Like, oh yeah, oh gee shucks, I hope they make it out, things like that. And I'll go into spoiler territories a little bit here. So If you haven't seen the movie, I'd say I'd say it's worth checking out. Give it a look, but spoilers moving forward. You've been warned. But we like the characters enough. They have a fair enough camaraderie and all of that with good, convincing actors, things like that. And with the Ryan Reynolds character, he's kind of the hot shot, cocky, sort of goofball kind of guy who's just always giving the funny one-liners, and he gives a lot of pep to the earlier portions of the movies, where maybe to the movie where it usually maybe might drag a little bit. But then, in kind of a bold move, they kill him off, and it's pretty brutal too. So I liked that. I thought that was kind of a good surprise because I actually didn't see it coming. Because I remember I caught this when it came to streaming. I think it was streaming on like HBO Go or something like that a few years after, or maybe like a year and a half after theatrical release. But I remember seeing all the trailers and stuff for the movie where it made it seem like he was a main character, a big part of it, but really only in the first act. So a good move on that part. So it does have little surprises like that, but maybe it doesn't have the backbone, doesn't have anything else you can really take from it, other than yeah, they're on a spaceship and it's suspenseful and scary and kind of cool. And this monster, it's interesting. It's never really the same form in any given scene. So instead of going with this one look of the creature, they go for like multiple looks, and it's always changing. And I thought that was kind of interesting too. It's sort of a similar concept to Alien when you think about it. Um, and I'll give credit to the CGI specifically of the Alien too. I mean, I'm not exactly a purist when it comes to these kinds of movies. Like I love the days of 70s and 80s and practical effects and cool creature makeup and costumes and puppets and all that stuff. I love that. And I think if integrated properly with CGI, it is effective today, and it shouldn't be left by the wayside. And I think a lot of movies make that mistake, including Alien Covenant, released the same year, where they just kind of gave up on practical for the alien, and they just did all CGI, which is a little bit disappointing. But here it is all CGI, and I guess it's justified because it is this, I don't know, unstable kind of organism, and it's always changing. And I think it looks pretty convincing. I mean, I don't. It's not like when you watch something from like the '90s when they're still kind of figuring this stuff out, or like, oh my god, that looks like PS1 cutscene kind of stuff, or even you know from the 50s where you'll see like a cheesy, like, I don't know, like insectoid eyes and like flippers and I don't know, stupid stuff like that where it's just a dude in a costume. So I give it credit to that. I mean, it's certainly better than any 50s sci-fi schlock in a sense, in a presentation on the screen kind of sense, but the spirit very much remains the same. And it's still just a cheesy, but it's just better acted. But with something like Alien, which I'll mention a million times because I'm a big fan of Alien. I don't know. Uh, there's something more to it, and there's something more than just the revision. So you can update this kind of story all you want, give it the flashiest special effects that you want, but I don't know. Today's audiences, we've seen it all, we've heard it all, we've been through it all. We come into the film with crossed arms, with a show me attitude, and we just want to be wholly impressed. And if you're not able to do that, if you're just doing something that's kind of by the numbers and perfunctory and something we've seen all these times before, just with slight differences and things like that, then yeah, it's not going to come out to be the most memorable movie. And it's not, but I did enjoy it for what it was. Again, I thought, it felt very realistic. It felt like they were on a spaceship, felt like there was no gravity, felt like there was a monster there. The threat was legitimate enough, and I liked all that. And I think it does have a pretty good conclusion to the film, where I think in kind of an editing trick that kind of reminds me of like Silence of the Lambs, when like Clarice is she's at the right house and the FBI is at the wrong house, and like they keep switching back, and you're supposed to think one thing. They kind of do that when like they're in the escape shuttle things, and you're thinking, oh well, she's going to Earth, she's going to be safe, and he's going out into space, and he's going to take the alien with him. But no, no, it's a switcheroo, and basically that's how the movie ends. The alien gets to Earth, and that sucks. So yeah, pretty good ending. And what was kind of weird was that, again, something I remember from leading up to the release of the movie was there were rumors, and I don't know, maybe cause, like I guess because it was Sony, right, and they own the rights. But there were rumors that this was supposed to technically be a prequel to Venom, like Marvel Venom character Venom. Uh, but I guess those were defunct, and like maybe it was like sort of an original concept, or maybe it was just all bullshit. Maybe it's just kind of PR on Sony's part. Like everyone loves these fucking superhero movies, so let's try and trick audiences into going seeing them. So I don't know. I guess superhero movies today are what the drive-in sci-fi monster movies were back then. They can't make them fast enough. A lot of them are really cheesy and stupid, but the good ones always stand out. Life remains somewhere in the middle. I can't say it's a bad movie because it's not. It's pretty good. I mean, it's something just throw on if you don't have anything else to watch. Uh, I'm sure you'll enjoy it if you like this kind of movie. I enjoyed it. I just didn't think there was anything too special about it. So I don't know. That's maybe like the worst kind of thing you can say about a movie. Like, at least when I don't know, when you hate a movie, you have some kind of passion about it. But I don't know. I didn't feel too much for this one, unfortunately. But a mild recommendation, if that's enough. A good enough spooky movie to watch during Halloween season, if that's your MO this month. So, thank you very much for watching my review of Life. Check this one out. Check out the Eddie Murphy one too. I think that's kind of underrated, actually. It's not that funny, but it was actually more of a drama, and Eddie Murphy gives a really good performance in it. And that was my phone, so I have to go. Thank you for watching, and stay tuned for more 31 Days of Horror. Until next time, I'll see you later.